Today is Tuesday, March 4th. Welcome to my daily review. You could see the Nasdaq had another down day today, down only 65 points or 0.35%. Close at 18,285 with 5% above the 50-day average volume. You'd call this a pink rally day because it closed in the upper range, of the daily bar here. You could see that just barely, though, just barely in the upper half of the daily range, but only gave back 65 points. Made a low here today of 17,956, which undercut the prior low, which I talked about, I think yesterday or on the weekend here. Undercut that 18,083 low, but did not undercut the 17,700. So maybe maybe we have more to look forward to here. I don't know. This could be a low. It certainly could. If it is, it'll probably be retested. So there's no need to really jump back into the market, right away. Most lows are, tested, not maybe not all the way down, but just another little, if we bump up here in a couple days, maybe just another test of that low. So the first day of an attempted rally could be, I guess, Friday would be day four. But what we saw today was just some short covering. The algos, they're triggered by the word tariff. So whenever the term tariff is spoken, um, the market sells off, the algos are triggered, and the sell programs fire up. But and now today we actually had tariffs not talked about. They were actually deployed, into China, Mexico, and Canada. But there's going to be a time that's going to come when the market, the word tariff is mentioned, the market's not going to react. And that's what I'm looking for pretty soon too here. I'm also looking for the market not reacting negatively to negative news, like a jobs report this Friday. If that's negative and the market goes up, that's the type of stuff that I'm looking for. And I believe that's where we could get our, follow through day on Friday. The jobs report is pretty important. But you see here the gap lower, the sell off down to that 17,956 where we made that low, and then this is just short covering here, and then more selling into the close. Just a weak environment. Environment is everything when trading. I mean, I know people think they can trade against the market. Sometimes you can, but for the most part, 80% of stocks are going to follow the tape. If it's this negative as it's been, I mean, it's really tough to be long in this. It's also tough to get short because you get that, what I just showed you right there, this face ripper rally here, where you think you're getting cocky and you're getting short the market, and all of a sudden it zooms up like 600 points on you in a short period of time. That's why, it's just getting too stretched to the downside for me to be mega short. Also, these perma bulls who are saying, buy the dips all the way down. There are a bunch of dips. Buy the dip here, no. Buy the dip here, no. Buy the dip here. It just keeps dipping. You cannot buy dips. You got to buy bounces, and I mean real bounces. Um, what would I consider a bounce would be a good question. I would say above this level here, above the high on this day here. Yeah, 18,992. I mean, it's got a long way to go, 700 points. I mean, this could be a lot of gains in that period of time. But for me, I mean, I want some confirmation on a bounce here. And this thing closed once again below its 200. So this is not a time to get frisky. Because certainly, we could be I think we are starting a recession, and this could be slicing its 200. I mean, I've showed you, I think on the weekend, it's been, I think four times since it's come down to its 200 here since the uptrend. This is 2023 March, and then it came down here in October, the three legs down, yeah, doesn't mean it's going to bounce this time. It really doesn't. And the longer it stays down here and the longer it trades below, this is going to act as resistance and it's going to be pushed lower. So I would not get too frisky here expecting a bounce. I would allow this thing, make this thing prove itself. And so far, it's just clearly in a downtrend. All these moving averages here, the short term 10, 21, 50 are all curling lower. So market's in a downtrend, not going sideways anymore. It was correcting via time, with this chop suey, which we complained a lot about, and now it's correcting through price and in a hurry. All right. Anyway, I'm just going to go through some stocks today and stocks that I like, stocks that I had on my watch list and ready list that, for whatever, it's worth. I'm just going to go through them. And I'm going to start with, and then I'll get to some of the earnings reports. But here's a stock that I've had on my ready list last week and this week. And to me, 30 is the magic number here. And you can see how it shakes people out. Now, it ran up today to like 40 bucks. It's going to come back down. That's what this thing does, right? Last week, I believe it was, or 2 weeks ago, it went up to 34.41. Then last week traded down to 19.55. This is just last, what is it, Tuesday? Yeah, a week ago. Tuesday, the 25th. It was at 19. Now today it's at 40, okay, in a week. All right. It's more than doubled here. So it's going to pull back, maybe back to its five. I should use the five for a strong stock like this, but yeah, I mean the 10 today was 28. You know what? Just for the sake, I have time today. I'm not going to go through a bunch of stocks. So I will pull it up the five here. Just on GRRR, I'm going to switch it back. But yeah, it pulled back there this morning. It came down to the five at 31.63, even below it. So the low was 29. So yeah, bounced nicely there. They raised sales guidance yesterday, I don't know, afternoon, and they raised it. They signed a 1.8 billion contract, and they raised sales guidance to what, 100 million, I believe. And if you just, I couldn't post the video of the CEOs talking, but he talks about his technology and they're going to be signing contracts. Bangkok, they signed a contract with Bangkok. That's not a small city. There will be other big cities they're going to get contracts with. To me, this thing is, I don't know, I just conservatively, I think maybe a $60 stock. Yeah, it was in 2023 it was 60, and when it IPO'd it was 500. So there's only 18 million shares in the float. So it's not going to take much to move this thing. And you could see that it's up down volume is 1.8, high beta stock. So just, it's not for everybody. But if you just take a look, back here at the end of 2024, December, when the volume started coming in, just big blue volume bars. Somebody's buying this thing. I don't think it's going to stop at 40, personally. But, like I said, it's not for everyone. If you're if you need Dramamine for the ups and downs and you want to participate in this stock, you just put it in an IRA, just buy it, at the beginning of the month, buy it next month, buy it a month later, and just try to um, you know, dollar cost average in that way. If you don't want to buy here at 38 and it comes back down to 30 tomorrow, that's gonna, if you can't handle or tolerate that type of volatility, I understand it. It's not for everyone. Then the best way to do it is just buy small increments, every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, whatever. Uh, yeah, I think this is a lot like I was talking to some friends today about SMCI when it was way undervalued back in 2023 and it made that big run. I'm not saying it's going to do that, but I do think it'll double from that low today of $30 up to 60. I think that's in 2025. I think that's quite possible. Anyway, I'm going to move on because the other stock that I really like here is TGTX. They reported yesterday morning, and Big Mike Wise delivered the goods. And I went through the data, I went through the numbers with some friends here, and people who understand, balance sheets a little better than I do, but they have a recurring revenue from existing patients, and multiple sclerosis patients live a long time. So, and they don't like to switch them a lot. So once they get on the drug and they're having success with it, and Briumvi is really tolerable, and it's going to be, hopefully down the road, what is it? And one infusion every 2 months and possibly every 3 months. And so they're making inroads, and so it's a lot. You don't have to sit in the chair for 6 hours with this one either. It's just like an hour or so. Infusion time is very short. Anyway, bottom line is, as an investor, They have recurring revenue. So any ad that they have is added to what they already have. Like um, they delivered 108 million sales uh, in Q4 of 2024, and we're already two-thirds of the way into Q1 of 2025. And you could see this 63, 73, 83, and all of a sudden, whoops, 108. What happened? Well, they still have the 83 because they have recurring revenue. And these are the ads, right? They're adding every quarter. And the CFO, I believe it was, said that the January and February they had record subscriptions, which means they're adding on to that 108. So, so I'm thinking, that they really sandbagged the quarter when I went through this data. I'm expecting them to have that 108 plus the ads, it's going to be this jump here was 25 million. I'm thinking at least 35 million. So like, or call it 32. So about 140 million for the next quarter. I think these guys are sitting pretty at this level here. Um, Once again, though, you got to look through some of the data now. They have cash flow, return on equity. Here's their 138 million shares in the float. A little bit of debt, not too bad. Spending on R&D, that is coming down. Yeah, up down volume is 1.1, more buyers and sellers. The beta is 1.2. So this is, another high volatile stock too, but man, I like the direction. You could see the relative strength line heading due north. It's got that blue dot. The volume this week, if I just go to the weekly chart, in 2 days, it's already above the average weekly volume. And you can see that it's just ready to break out of this base here. Hasn't done it yet, but it's already up 18% this week. So, I wouldn't expect much more this week. But at some point, it's going to take out that 36 area. What was it today? It made a new high today. The high was from 36.84 on the week of 11/29 and went 36.94. So it beat it by a dime. Um, and I don't think it's done. I'm not saying it's going to do it this week. But in the coming weeks, I expect it to break out of that 36.84, especially if the market starts to cooperate. Anyway, another stock that I like and have on the ready list is Lilly. I pulled back today, 2%, big deal. It's just it's consolidating in this big base here. Pulled back to its 10 EMA, as you can see here. The 10 EMA was 900 and change, and the low was 902 and change. So in spirit, I don't know if it's going to go much lower than that, but Lilly, I have this on the ready list. I like this stock a lot. It's not going to go up every day, especially in this tape. But to me, what did I say? The Nasdaq was down this week, or did I say that? Yeah, the Nasdaq's down 3% this week. So your growth stocks are going to be down 6, 8, 9, 10% this week. That would be normal. All right. Another stock that I like that just changed my mind on, that's Hims. Pulled back to the 50 for the first time since the breakout. Then now today came back again. You don't want to see this continue to bang on this 50 because at some point, if it keeps doing that, it's going to crack through that 50. So it needs to bounce here. I know it closed at what, 68% of the daily range. That's a decent bounce, but for me, it's got to get above, I don't know, what yesterday's high, 46. So it's got some work to do. Uh, but in this tape, I mean, all bets are off. I would not be getting too frisky in this tape at all. This is Clearwater Analytics, CWAN. Another one that I have on my list. Nice cup with handle, just consolidating, trading tight within the base, pull back to the 10 today. That's not doing anything wrong, down 1% in this tape. Not too bad. Couple other drug stocks, but besides TG and Lilly and Hims, this is Verona, VRNA, pulled back to its 10 today, up 2% in today's tape, not bad at all. Gilead is another one that's been really ripping. That's been trading down to its 5 and finding support. Sanofi, this is a one of those European. I've every day I've been pounding these European stocks, and this is another one, a French stock, you know, breaking out and making new highs here. Not new highs, just breaking out. And actually, the old high is what, 58.97, call it 59. Yeah, it's approaching that. So, breakout from that cup with handle pattern. Those are pretty rare these days. Breakouts have not been working. All right, any more drug stocks on here? Oh, yeah, they got this one here, DVAX. I did a screen of stocks that are above their 10 EMA, the 150. There's only like stocks above the 10 here, 19 of them here that with volume that are above their 10, 21 and 200. So not a lot of them. DVAX is one of them. I was going to put this one on the ready list, but I just are, it's just not the type of tape. It's on my watch list. You could see why here. Showing real strength this week. Um, yeah, maybe I'll put it on tomorrow if the I don't know. The market's just so darn weak. If we can have a day where, tariffs aren't mentioned, if that's possible, then maybe the market will act better. But what the market does is it's trying to reprice, the tariffs, the impact of the tariffs, and we don't know that. Nobody knows that yet. And the also our trade partners, what tariffs are going to put on us, the retaliation tariffs. So the market errs on the side of caution. It just sells first, and that's where the opportunity lies. And then they kind of figure out, okay, it's going to be do damage here. It's going to be okay here. And then you'll start seeing it perk up. And that's why I said, just, wait for bad news to come in and the market not react, or wait for the tariff word to come in and the market doesn't react, or maybe even goes higher. And then that's when you kind of know that, it's kind of priced all that stuff in. So it's not there yet, though, for sure. I also like some slower moving stocks in an environment like this. This is Duke down 2% today. I do like Waste Management in a tape like this, pulled back to its old buy point there at 230, back to the 10. These are more defensive names. But you gotta have some defense in a market like this. Viking, this is one that I put on my regular list. Thought it was gonna find support at the 50, but slice through. So that's adios, muchachos for me. I don't want to, don't want to play around with stuff like that. Here's another one that, I thought was going to get support at the 50 and just trying to hang on there. Closed 0.5% below it. So just a really tough tape. Dutch Bros could be trying to fill this gap here at 68.47. What was the low today? A 69.81. So maybe it's got some weakness down below here. Where did it close? Middle of the daily range. But trying to hang on to the 21. If it can't do that, if there's more weakness in the tape, I could see a pullback to the 50 here, which and closing that gap, which is not the end of the world, especially in this current environment. Man, it's been tough. Doximity, below the 21. This is another one. I don't know if I put this on my ready list or not. It's on my watch list. But once again, expecting support and not getting it. So those are what you call expectation breakers, right? When you expect a strong stock to get support and they're not finding it, so that's an expectation breaker for Doximity. I do want to point out on some of those stocks that I just showed you from my screen, some of the gold stocks here, trading above moving averages. This is a nice cup with handle pattern, a nice shake out there last week, and doing pretty well this week, up yeah, nearly 6%. That is GFI. Not a ground fault interrupter. It's gold fields. The other one is KGC. This is Kinross Gold. Another one that pulled back to the 50 for the first time since the breakout, expecting support, and it found it. And that was up nearly 4% today. Yeah, it's up nearly 4% for the week. And so that's KGC, Kinross Gold. Oh, I had another one here in the drug department. The drugs are doing okay. This is, your classic bull wedge pattern here, where it just kind of, makes a high, then drifts back to the moving average in lighter volume here, and now pops with stronger volume, nearly 4% today. So let's take a look at the weekly on that one. Yeah, there's your 2 week pullback and then a pop today. So this one is Ireland. The brogue is heavy with Al Kerms. Anyway, that's it for that. Okay, just some stocks that I'm watching. All right, I want to get to some of the EPS names because I still believe that you got to pay attention to earnings. And this is AutoZone. They reported this morning just flat on the session, which is not bad. Let's take a look at the intraday action on this. Eh, it sold off at the open, got some buyers, sold off into the close for a flat session. So that's not really too bad. All things considered, ASTS, this one was rallied up 12%. Very nice, especially in this tape. So big volume move for ASTS. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. Yeah, just buyers all day. A little sell off into the close, but good action for that stock. SE, this is one that reported a nice response. We had this one on our ready list here, and I had a person ask me a good question about, I had it on the ready list, I like it, did I buy it? No, but it still went higher. But I still watched them even though I didn't own it, but because it pulled back here to a moving average. So oftentimes, especially in a weak tape, they'll give you a second chance there. There you see the 119.47 and it pulled back to 119.89 last Tuesday, kind of flattened out. And now today popped on earnings. So yeah, congrats to the longs there. And yeah, just because I take them off the ready list doesn't mean I don't like them. It just means that they're extended from a proper buy point. That's all. Let me see what else do I owe. Big Dave. I don't like Dave. I'm sorry. I have a friend who really likes it. I have trouble with any company that's got any sort of accounting issues. I've just been burned in the past, and it's not something that I want to play around with. That was down nearly 5% today. So Dave's not here, and he doesn't have this stuff. You know who does is Okta. Okta, man, traded up to 108, closing near the high of the session. Very nice move, 24%. I thought it might have trouble with 100, which is that old area here, the high 160 from Valentine's Day, the day before, February 13th. So, man, it went through that 100 level like poop through a goose. So, congrats to the longs there at Okta. Another one with accounting, cloud hanging over it is a Giga Cloud. There's some friends who like it. I do not at all. Not at all. Clear downtrend, negative red numbers here for earnings. Adios, muchachos. Don't even want to even look at something like that. GitLab, yeah, traded down to its 200 and closed near the high of the daily range, up 11%. I believe this one was down in pre-market. Gap lower at the open. Yeah, look at that, man. Buyers coming in all day. So in a tape like that, we had today, up 11.5%, that's phenomenal. So good move for the GitLab SMR. This one surprised me as well. It was down in pre-market, I believe, but bounced off the 200. We saw some stocks, energy stocks, bouncing off the 200 today. Let's take a look at this swap. Yeah, sold off near the open, and buyers came in. It got bought up all day. Little weakness into the close, like everything else. But nice high volume move there for SMR. I wanted to mention VST, another energy stock, pulled back to its 200, found a little bit of support, closed 68% of the daily range. So a nice little bounce there for VST. This is, yeah, there you see sell off in the morning. This is why I like to wait in the morning. What is that? 55 minutes in, and then buyers start coming in and just climbed all day, sell off into the close, of course, because you never know what's going to happen overnight with, it's just too volatile right now, too erratic. This is ADMA, another one that's got these accounting issues, traded below its 200, then rallied back above all its moving averages. Kind of a wild move. And we're seeing a lot of wild moves around earnings. There's your sell-off, 25 minutes into the close, and half hour in, buyers step up and a nice finish there. Didn't sell off like a lot of others. So the daily range, it closed at 98%. So the nice hammer candle on ADMA. I just, I'd rather own TGTX, something that, yeah, I'm not going to have all this cloud around it. All right. Thank you for watching. This is really important time for you to, curate that watch list and get ready to, have something ready to go when the market turns, because it will turn and it's going to turn when you least expect it, when everybody's super negative. Like I say, Friday could be the day four. We could have a follow through day and off to the races. You just never know. Um, so at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up, except for none other great Steve Jobs. I have one more thing. I have to look at some earnings reports tonight. I heard CrowdStrike CEO talking a big game, but they beat on earnings and revenue, whatever. They guided lower. So if everything's great and business is strong, you shouldn't be guiding lower. And I know what they're doing. They're just putting up numbers they know they can crush. But tomorrow, it looks like this thing's going to, it rallied up to the 455, pulled back to the 50 for the first time. So you think it's going to bounce. And now it looks like it's going to crack below here. So CrowdStrike is one that I'm going to watch tomorrow. It looks like it's not going to get the same sort of action that Okta did, but you cannot put too much credence into the um, after hours action because we see reversals all the time. Speaking of credence, we have Credo reporting after hours. It was up big. I did not read the report. Yeah, it was up like 10%. Now it's only up 1%. You never know what they say in in a conference call. But anyway, um, nice little move into the report. But man, this is so far below the 50. I can't even I can't go there. Box, I saw this was down. Another one that talking a big game. AI this, AI that, but cup with handle pattern, and it looks like it's going to fall below the 50 tomorrow. ROST stores, another one. I mean, the consumers weakening. Yeah, look at this thing. This is anticipation of a, weaker economy, a weaker consumer. It's up slightly after hours. I'll have more information on these stocks tomorrow morning. Abercrombie and Fitch, this one, stage four decline. What are you talking about, Marty? Stage four? Well, these are your classic Weinstein stages, right? You have your stage one, kind of a sideways action. Stage two, your ascent. Stage three, your sideways action. And now stage four, the decline. And, maybe it'll come down here, make a little base for a while, then go back to another stage two. But that's a long ways away from doing that, I think, for Abercrombie and Fitch. Very popular with the younger generation, but that's not helping it, is it? Um, and who else reports from a Foot Locker? Oh my gosh, Foot Locker. That kind of business model's dead, the mall where you go in and try your shoes on. I mean, people buy their On Holding shoes. Oh, that's right. On Holdings reported. I didn't include that one. Yeah, nice bounce off the 200 for On Holdings. Very rare that we see these shoe stocks. Sorry for the digression here. But yeah, Crocs has been getting killed. Deckers has been killed. That's been taken out and shot. Skechers, yeah, I mean, out to the woodshed for the beating. Yeah, they just been all crushed. Um, in anticipation of a slower economy, people aren't going to buy shoes. If all these people are fired and they go to the unemployment line, they're going to be buying essentials. They're not going to be buying discretionary items. So, anyway, my last one is Thor Industries reports in the morning. I kind of doubt they have anything good to say. This is discretionary again, RV, recreational vehicles, yeesh, very costly luxury good, but we'll see. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, and just be ready. Be ready. That's the theme for this week. Be ready because the market can turn, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if it did. Anyway, mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.